Hi, Vince here again to show you a bit more love to the Linux terminal with some cool tips and tricks. Now, I know that many of you may know infinitely more than I do about the terminal, and that's great. What I love is learning new things about the terminal, and I just love sharing my progress with you. Now, the terminal is such a useful tool. Whatever you learn to do in it, it's applicable to all the distros. So I think it's worth spending some time getting used to it and learning how to use it. These are some tips and tricks that I like to use that might make your life just that little bit easier. If you are a beginner and would like a good introduction into Linux terminal basics, I've linked a great tutorial from Ubuntu below. At this one here. Today, what I would like to discuss are some of the various ways to use your command history in your Linux terminal. So without further ado, let's bring up the terminal. Here I'm on my main desktop, which is running Arco Linux with the i3 window manager. Now, why would you need your command history? Well, maybe you have a commonly used command that you'd like to run again and again. And sometimes if the command you're looking for is quite long, it's faster to bring it up from history than to type it all out again. You might also be troubleshooting something that you mistakenly did, and you want to track how you got yourself into whatever current mess that you're in at the moment. That's something that the command line history could help you with. Finally, there might have been some really long and complicated command that you either wrote yourself or that you found on a website previously and used it to do something, but now you want to use it again and you can't recall it. The command history can actually help you bring that up and use it again. So how do we manage all this? Well, in Terminal, firstly, one of the most obvious ways you can bring up your command history would be to use the up arrow. Many of you may already know this. So as I up arrow through my commands, you can see some of the commands I've used. This arrowing functionality is actually quite common across sort of text-based computer systems, even dating back to the days of using MS-DOS and Windows command prompt. You can up arrow to go through your past commands. You can simply scroll up and down with your arrow keys to previous ones and then go down to more recent ones, and you can then edit the command that you want. And for example, with this one, you can install a new package with the same command. Then, once you've found the command that you want, you can hit enter. Once you've edited it, you can hit enter, and Bob's your uncle. There's a quick way to run another command. It's fast and it's convenient, this arrowing, but it has a downside, and that is mainly that it can be a bit tedious to find something that you've used, say, a fair while ago. So something that's not in your last, say, half a dozen most recently used commands. You'll have to keep scrolling up to find what you've used. A second way to bring up your command line history is to simply use the history command. There you go. That's some of the commands that I've used just previously. Now, many of you can obviously see a problem here. Whenever you use the command history, it will show you your last 500 commands. That's a bit of overload. You can do things like limit your history to your last 10 commands, for example, by using the history and adding a number to the end of that, and that'll show you your last 10 commands. Let's just clear the screen to make it a bit easy to see. And of course you can use any number there. You can use 5, and that'll show you your last 5 commands. Another way to sift through this history command is to simply pipe it through another command. For example, the less command. This command will allow you to page up and down or scroll through line by line that big list of your last 500 history commands. So you can scroll up and down with up and down arrows and page up, page down, and press Q to quit. You can also search this list of history by, of course, using the piping through your grep. So say, for example, I want to see when I've used the ls command. We'll search the history for any command that contained ls. Another really great way of searching through history is to use the Control-R key combination, which is called Recursive Search. Let's try it out on a command, such as if I wanted to use nano to edit a file that I know that I'd previously edited recently, we can do a search for nano. And what this command will do is it'll immediately give you your last command that you used with whatever you searched for. But what if you want to go back through your history to any previous commands? You can't just use the up or down arrows to cycle through. This will actually bring you back to the previous functionality of cycling up and down through your command history like we did before. To do it this way while you're in this recursive search function, you have to press Control-R repeatedly, like so. This way, it'll actually cycle through your history of commands that contain nano. Then, once you've found the command that you're looking for, you can simply re-edit the command if it's something you need to change very quickly, or press enter and it'll run it again. So let's find something I can maybe edit. Press enter. It's asking for my sudo password. There. Now I can edit my pacman.conf file, which I must have been doing something with recently as well. To exit, Control X. Now there are actually other cool things you can do with Control-R recursive search in the terminal that I didn't even know about until I was researching for this video. It's explained here in this little article, which I'll link below again, such as this little fact that you can actually add tags to certain commands. Now you need to tag the command when you initially run it. They show here. The tag, which is used by commenting with the little hashtag, won't actually be recognized as part of that command when you initially run it, but in your history it'll save that tag, and you can quickly do a recursive search with Control-R, type that tag in, and it'll find that command for you. But I won't go into too much more detail here about it. You can read about it more for yourself. That's where I'll leave it for today. Thanks for watching. I've got more information and links to some of the resources I used for this video down in the notes below. if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, particularly if you have any suggestions for tips you might know of and would like me to cover, leave them down below. Now, go forth and practice. Then, maybe teach someone else what you've mastered. Bye, friends.